Well, now I think we should start with a basic wash to cover the paper and get rid of that white of the paper. I normally like to stand when I'm painting. I like to do very much wet and wet. So I shall add some clean, and it must always be clean water. And then I shall add some colours to that, and I'll mix a little yellow ochre there. I don't want too much. And then basically a summer sky, we're going to have I think the cobalt blue, and one should always mix. I might put a little bit more water in there, because you always want to mix a little bit more. It's quite a strange thing that if you don't do enough of a colour, you can never repeat that colour when you come to try to get the same wash again. So I think that'll do rather nicely. I want to mask out a little bit of the white sails and one or two of the boats to keep them white. So this prevents any colour getting onto the paper. So we'll just very quickly, it doesn't take very long, just put in a little. And maybe the boat in the front here. And this is all to give you these, what we've been talking about, tonal values, the white, and then we'll have the dark trees, and that will help to make the painting. Now there we are. We must wash out the brush, because the brush will go quite hard and it'll be of no use at all. Well, now we're ready to lay in the basic washes, and I like to work very much, certainly on these scenes, wet into wet. So I take a largish brush here, a hake brush, and some very clean water, must be clean, and then we start the process of wetting very quickly over the whole of the painting. Sometimes you can leave out a little bit of dry there, you get a bit of white in the sky, and just as a happening, that can be very attractive. But here we are, I put plenty of water on there. In fact, if necessary, some very old blotting paper, and you can always dub out like that, just take out if you think it's too wet. Now let's come back to the painting now then, and we'll start. I'll try with a larger brush, I think, into the sky, and we'll take a larger brush here with the clean water, and I'll take some of the yellow ochre and give just over the hill there, and one or two streaks in the sky there, and possibly something up there, and that working up that way like that. And then I want to get a reflecting part of that in the water as well, because it will be always reflecting into the water. So I'll do a little bit there. Wash the brush. I'll take a slightly larger and take the cobalt blue and start to lay in a basic sky colour. Notice how a little bit of white showing there. Sometimes you find it really is attractive to lead it. There you see I left a bit of white again, and that I find very attractive. You sometimes get little puffs of white in the sky, and don't be too exact if anybody's taking up watercolour, certainly not at this stage. You very rarely see hard lines in a sky. And now we start to let in into the water, reflecting the sky. And you see how the blue over that masking fluid, so once you take the masking fluid off, you've got a lovely white sail. Oh, we'll let a little bit of blue go through there. And I think maybe just cover up one or two of those. Now what I'm going to do now is to just add a little bit of French ultramarine to give it, as you go higher in the sky, it often gets a little bit darker. So this is only a basic wash, remember, and it is useful though to do this sort of thing. And then I might add a little bit of violet with that, just to make it interesting. Now I'm just going to do a little bit on the edges there. Make sure we've covered the paper well, and up there as well. Now that, to all intents and purposes, is our basic wash.